Leon's career was on the rise, and he was finally starting to reap the rewards of his hard work. A meeting with foreign investors could seal his future, but something was bothering him: his wife, Grace. Ashamed of her, Leon decides to take his sister, Emily, to accompany him to the dinner. However, what he would discover during that evening would open his eyes to a revealing truth. Hello, my friends. I am Linda, and this is Linda's Love Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. Leon adjusted his tie for the third time while observing his reflection in the mirror. At 35 years old, he was finally reaping the rewards of years of dedication to his career. As a project manager at a renowned technology company, his responsibilities grew each day, along with the opportunities to stand out. He descended the stairs of the comfortable suburban house he shared with his wife Grace and their 8-month-old twins, Thomas and Sophie. He found Grace in the kitchen, preparing breakfast baby food, while the babies played in the nearby playpen. "Good morning, love," Leon said, giving his wife a quick kiss on the cheek. "I have an important meeting today. I will probably be home late." Grace smiled wearily, pushing aside a strand of hair that stubbornly kept falling over her eyes. "All right, good luck at the meeting. I'll try to keep the little ones awake so they can say goodnight to you when you get back." Leon waved absently while grabbing his briefcase. He glanced quickly at his children, who smiled when they saw him. "Daddy loves you," he said before hurrying out the door. During the commute to the office, Leon reflected on how his life had changed in recent years. He remembered when he met Grace 6 years ago through his sister Emily. The two were best friends and had met during a trip. It was Emily who introduced Grace to her brother. At the time, Grace was a woman full of energy and plans. She worked as a freelance journalist and loved traveling the world in search of new stories. Leon fell in love not only with her beauty, but especially with her adventurous spirit and restless mind. They got married after 2 years of dating. Initially, they managed to balance their careers and life together well. However, when Grace got pregnant with twins, they decided that she would stay home to take care of the babies, at least for the first few years. Leon sighed as he parked the car. He knew that Grace was happy being a mother, but sometimes he wondered if she missed her old life. He brushed these thoughts aside as he entered the elevator. He had a busy day ahead and needed to focus. The following weeks were a whirlwind for Leon. The company was about to close a deal with foreign investors, and he was directly involved in the negotiations. He arrived home later and later, usually finding Grace already asleep on the couch, exhausted after a day looking after the babies. One Friday, his boss called him in for a conversation. "Leon, you have been doing an excellent job," she said, smiling. "The investors will be in town next week, and we will have a dinner to properly welcome them. It will be on Wednesday at the restaurant of that famous hotel downtown. All the executives will be present with their spouses. I count on your wife's presence, okay?" Leon felt a chill in his stomach. He hesitated for a moment before responding, "Of course. We will be there." As he left the boss's office, Leon picked up his cell phone to call Grace, but stopped before dialing. In recent months, conversations with his wife revolved almost exclusively around the babies. He imagined her trying to talk about diapers and baby food with the sophisticated investors and executives, and felt a pang of shame. Before he could restrain himself, he called his sister Emily. "Hey, little brother, what a nice surprise!" Emily's cheerful voice sounded from the other end of the line. "Hi, Emily. Listen, I need a huge favour." Leon got straight to the point. "There's an important company dinner on Wednesday. Could you accompany me?" Emily was silent for a few seconds. "What about Grace?" she finally asked. Leon hesitated. With the twins and everything, she won't be able to go." "A dinner with your bosses doesn't sound very fun, Leon," Emily hesitated. Leon insisted. "Emily, I need your help, and besides, your travel stories are perfect for impressing people." Emily sighed on the other end of the line. "All right, Leon, I'll go." Leon thanked her, relieved, and hung up. When he arrived home that night, he found Grace rocking the babies. "Hi, love," she whispered. "How was your day?" Leon kissed the children's foreheads and then his wife's lips. "Busy as always. Oh, there's a company dinner on Wednesday. It's probably going to be boring, nothing major." Grace nodded, returning her attention to the children. Leon felt a twinge of guilt, but quickly dismissed it. He was doing it for the family's well-being, after all. The days passed quickly, and soon it was the night of the dinner. Leon picked up his sister Emily from her apartment downtown. "Wow, you look beautiful," complimented her sister, who was wearing an elegant navy blue dress. Emily smiled, but her gaze was serious. "Leon, why did Grace prefer not to go to the dinner?" Leon looked away, focusing on the road ahead. "Well, actually, I didn't even invite her," he admitted. "Lately, Grace has been so involved in raising the twins that I don't think she would have much to talk about with the people at this dinner." Emily became visibly irritated. "I can't believe you did that, Leon. Grace is your wife, not a nanny you hired. She has every right to be there by your side." I know. Leon tried to justify himself. "But you don't understand, Emily. This dinner is very important for my career. I need to impress these people." "And you think I'm more capable of doing that than your own wife?" Emily asked, incredulous. Leon remained silent, embarrassed. Emily shook her head, disappointed. "You know what? I'm not going. Go home and take your wife to that dinner." "Please, Emily," Leon pleaded. "I've already confirmed that I would bring you as my companion. I can't just show up alone or with someone else. Please, help me just this once." Emily looked at her brother for long seconds before sighing in defeat. "All right, Leon. But know that I don't agree with what you're doing." The dinner began as Leon had predicted. Emily, with her natural charisma, soon became the centre of attention. Her stories of travelling around the world fascinated those present, who listened attentively to every detail of the adventures narrated. "And that's how we ended up camping in the middle of the Amazon rainforest," Emily concluded one of her stories, eliciting laughter and amazed expressions from the listeners. "Incredible!" exclaimed one of the investors. "You must have many other fascinating stories to tell. And who did you usually travel with?" Emily smiled, her eyes shining with the memory. "Oh yes, most of those adventures I experienced with my best friend. We were inseparable back then." "Your best friend?" asked one of the executive's wives, intrigued. "She must be as fascinating as you." "Oh, she is," Emily replied enthusiastically. "Actually, who knows? One day you all might have the opportunity to meet her." Leon, who until then had been listening to his sister's stories with a mix of pride and relief, felt a chill run down his spine. Emily continued, "I'm talking about Grace, Leon's wife. We met during a backpacking trip through Asia, and since then we've shared numerous adventures together." All eyes turned to Leon, who felt his face burn with embarrassment. "Your wife, Leon?" asked the boss. "It's a pity she couldn't come today." Leon stammered, trying to find some justification, but Emily was quicker. "Oh, Grace would have loved to be here," she said, casting a significant look at her brother. "Unfortunately, she is at home taking care of the twins. You know, she gave up her career as a journalist to dedicate herself to her family." The table fell silent for a few moments until one of the wives present commented, "What dedication! It must be difficult for her, isn't it? Transitioning from such a busy life to taking care of the house and kids." Leon felt as if each word was a stab in his chest. How could he have forgotten who Grace really was? How had he allowed the routine to erase the image of the incredible woman he married? Emily continued telling stories, always including Grace in them. She talked about how they climbed mountains together, how they dived in the Great Barrier Reef, how they did volunteer work at an orphanage in Nepal. With each new story, Leon felt smaller. He had completely forgotten what a fascinating woman Grace was, and still is. Routine, work, responsibilities. All of this had blinded him to the treasure he had at home. As soon as dinner was over, Leon quickly said goodbye to everyone, ignoring the confused and slightly disapproving looks. In the car, he turned to Emily. "Emily, I'm sorry." "You are right, I was an idiot." Emily sighed. "It's not me you should apologize to, Leon. Grace deserves to know the truth." Leon nodded, determined. "You're right. I'll fix this right now." He dropped Emily off at home and rushed back to his own residence. He found Grace in the nursery, quietly humming while she rocked the babies. "Hi," she whispered upon seeing him. "How was dinner?" Leon felt tears welling up in his eyes. "Grace, I need to tell you something." In the following minutes, Leon poured everything out. He talked about the dinner invitation, about inviting Emily instead of her, and about how embarrassed he felt to bring her. Grace listened to everything in silence, her face a mixture of hurt and disappointment. "I understand that you are upset," Leon continued. "And you have every right to be. I was selfish and insensitive. But hearing Emily talk about you today, it reminded me of the incredible woman I married. The woman who climbed mountains, dived into oceans, and helped people around the world." Grace let out a shaky sigh. "Sometimes I forget that woman too," she admitted softly. Leon approached, taking her hands in his. "You haven't stopped being that woman, Grace. Just because you're a mother now, it doesn't mean you've lost all that courage and curiosity that made me fall in love with you. In fact, you're even more amazing now." He continued, "I let myself get carried away by the routine, by business, and I forgot to appreciate the wonderful person I have by my side every day. I forgot to see beyond the diapers and baby food, and I didn't realize I was pushing you away, not just from that dinner, but from my life as a whole." Grace had tears in her eyes now. "I love our children, Leon. I love being a mother. But sometimes I miss that life, you know? I miss feeling interesting, having something to talk about other than the new sound Thomas made or Sophie's new tooth." Leon hugged her tightly. "You are the most interesting person I know, Grace, and I promise that from now on, I will make an effort to show you that every day. We will find a balance, okay? You don't need to stop being who you are just because you're a mother, and I promise to be more present, to be a better partner." Grace smiled through her tears. "Thank you, Leon. That means a lot to me." That night, after putting the twins to sleep, Leon and Grace spent hours talking. They reminisced about old stories and made plans for the future. Leon listened in fascination as Grace spoke about a book project she had in mind, based on her travel experiences. 2 weeks after the dinner, Leon surprised Grace with a special evening. He asked Emily to look after the twins and took his wife to an elegant restaurant, the same one where the company dinner had taken place. Hand in hand, they entered the restaurant, ready to write a new chapter in their story. Leon knew he still had much to learn and improve, but he was determined never to forget the treasure he had by his side again. Grace, in turn, felt renewed, ready to balance her roles as a mother, wife, and independent woman. That night marked a new beginning for the couple, a reminder that love, respect, and mutual appreciation are the foundations of a strong relationship, and that sometimes it's necessary to take a step back to remember why we took so many steps together in the first place. If you enjoyed, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also, watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.